The United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime. That's because we've basically destroyed and annihilated most of the people within the current regime, and we are replacing them, and they keep replacing themselves out. To end our military operations in Iran. Very interesting way to phrase it, because we're basically at war. It's not really military operations, we are genuinely at war. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason the deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, which is interesting, says probably will be, it's not really definitive language, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay, in quotations, in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electrical generating plants, oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly all, let's keep going, desalination plants, which we have purposely not yet touched. This will be in retribution for our many soldiers and others that Iran has butchered and killed over the old regime's 47-year reign of terror. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Now, what I could do is I could tell you about how Donald Trump said, oh,
I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
But that really wouldn't accomplish anything, would it? I'm not going to tell you that Donald Trump is an idiot or stupid. I'm not going to do that. If you want to go see that somewhere, you're more than welcome to go to any other channel, any other video, and you can hear, oh, Donald Trump is dumb and he's ruining the world. We already know that. So what I'm going to do is explain the severity of the situation before I continue. But first, a word from our sponsor. Content like this is supported by viewers like you. If you would like to consider supporting me, I have a Patreon right here. It is linked in the top comment and the description, and it's as simple as $1 a month. When you subscribe to my Patreon, you get access to a patrons only Discord, and 4 times a month I'll react to one episode of your choosing of any show you would like on the Patreon. And when I do my big gigantic projects, you get your name to float across the screen. So please consider subscribing. Anyways, back to the main video. I would like to explain something if I could. It helps me make it easier if I can explain this in simpler terms, so I'm going to explain it as simple as possible. There's this way people talk about big things that involve other people's lives. They talk about it like it's a game of chess. Chess is simple. You move a piece, and the other piece moves, and everyone understands the rules, and at the end, someone tips their king, and it's over, and you go have a drink. That's pretty much how chess works. That is not how this works at all. You don't just hit a power grid. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. That's not a surgical move that happens. That's flipping a switch on millions of people's lives at once and expecting nothing to come back your way. That's not how pressure works. That's not how physics works. That's not how people works. You take out electricity and you don't just shut off lights. Shut off hospitals, water systems, communication, everything people need to exist day to day. And that will destroy everything. That will create fire. Fire doesn't read like the memo about proportional response or things of that variety, and we are far past the reasonable stage of this a military operation, or as everybody in America knows it, war. Now, Trump has this history. He will make a mess, and then he will walk away from that mess and expect things to figure it out. He did that with Doge. I could go on. I'm not gonna go on a list. You know what he's done. He's done things his entire presidency where he makes a mess and just walks away and expect people to clean up his mess. Epstein, Doge, whatever it may be. That's just how it works. He did that with Trump RX. He did that with the Trump Mobile. He did it with all of his business ventures. He just makes a mess, says he's going to do something, and then expects people to forget about it. And he says, we're doing a great job of what I said before, and nobody's checking him. But people are checking him now. And so that's what's happening. Iran would not just sit there and take that. They already said they wouldn't. They made it clear if their infrastructure gets hit, they're going to respond by hitting back. They're going to go after, it's very strategically, they're going to hit the neighboring countries. And if Iran hits the neighboring U.S. allies, we're cooked. That's what happens. If it attacks its neighboring countries, bases, cities, places that had nothing to do with the original strike, suddenly in a line of fire, that spreads. Oh, it's going to be a chain reaction. Every move forces another move until no one can step back without looking weak. And looking weak is the one thing you're not allowed to do. So you don't step back, you step forward, and you're in it. And it keeps going. And then you got the whole oil situation in this. Now, I'm in a very cheap state. I'm in Detroit. It's not very, very expensive here. It's very cheap. And I want to point something out. My gas right now is $5. We have reached $5 in gas here. Now, there are some places that are at $3.89, some places that are at $4.60, but I saw $5 and that pissed me off. If you're wondering why this is happening, it's because of the Straits of Hormuz is one of the most important routes on the planet for energy. And the second that's get threatened, everything changes. Prices spike, shipping slows, everything connected to that system starts shaking. Now, you may be curious why you have never heard about this before. I'm going to be so blunt with you. I'm going to be so real. I want you to look me in the eyes when I say this. The reason that we wanted clean energy and thermal energy or wind energy or solar energy was because of this very same strait. Because all the oil was in one specific area. If it relied on the wind or solar or thermal energy, other energies, geothermal energy, you wouldn't have to worry about this. But that would have to change the infrastructure of how cars work, and you wouldn't be able to justify a war. And when you can justify a war, you can blame the issues of the nation on that war. So you don't have to blame the issue on the people. We need war so we can distract the people from having the big issues. That's the loop that happens. And if we have clean renewable energy, whether it be nuclear, whether it be thermal, whether it be geothermal, whether it be solar or wind, well, guess what? We don't need coal. We don't need oil. But because everything runs on these things, we need those things. Now, everything connected to that system is falling apart, and people are feeling it all over the world, thousands of miles away. People aren't thinking about strategy. They're thinking about how much gas costs. They're thinking about their gas bill. They're thinking about why their grocery bill went up. They're living inside the consequence without ever having asked if they wanted to. But you did choose this. I just want to point this out. You chose this. Not everybody else in the world, of course. America chose this exact thing. Why did America choose this? Simple. Because we're babies. I've discovered that people don't know how war operates because Donald Trump doesn't know how war operates. He has stated that this war will end in 48 hours. This will be a 2-day war. We're going to annihilate them. We destroyed them. What did he say? Something about it being a hellfire or something like that. Bro, I'm put it on screen so you can read it. He says something around this right now. I want you to read this while I'm speaking. They think it's generals with pointers. They think it's analytics, clean, sterile. They think it's, let's use the word surgical, right? But it bleeds into everything. Gas prices, food costs, flights, jobs. All of it gets touched by decisions like this. And it's not just missiles and headlines. It's everyday life that gets more expensive and unstable for people who had nothing to do with any of it. Who weren't in the room. They weren't in the room where it happened. They didn't get a vote. And what was this? And once it starts escalating like that, it's hard to stop. Every side feels like they have to respond. No one wants to be the one that backs down. That's just how things spiral. One strike turns into multiple, retaliation turns into escalation, and suddenly, you're not dealing with one decision anymore. You're dealing with momentum. And momentum just goes, right? Just goes. Scariest part to me is that everybody was talking about this as if it was some hypothetical, as if it wasn't going to happen. It was always going to happen. This is not a hypothetical. We are in the thick of it now. This is the reality of the situation of the world. We are now in the thick of what we're saying was simply a thought exercise. And you can't just push this away. This is real reality now. This is the kind of thing that once you start, it doesn't really know where it's going to go. And we don't know where it's going to go. You don't get to decide how you fall when you've already destroyed the airplane. If you're curious what you can do, I'm going to try my best to offer a solution of sorts. Call your local offices. Look up the numbers to your mayor, local offices, or legislative branches. Talk to them. Call your state representatives. Look up those numbers on Google and call them. Call them and explain that you don't want a war and do your best. Now, I know you're not going to do my real solution, which would simply be to everybody stop working at once. If everybody stops working at once altogether, we can force Trump to pull out. But I'm pretty sure he's getting blackmailed by Israel, so that would suck. And then Big Yahoo's going to do the whole thing. That would suck garbage. So that's really my big solution. That's all I got. Now, you could say before that we've been in a situation like this with Bush or something of that variety because we were attacked on U.S. soil with 9/11. You could say that. But this is distinctly different because we have more access to information. And it feels more destructive and evil because we are being led astray right to our faces. And we are having bots and people tell us that we are not able to trust our eyes. Things are bad all around. It's just bad. I've got not much more to say. So that's all I got. I don't like how the war is going. I don't like the issues that are arising because of it. I don't think all the innocent lives that should be affected by the nonsense of Trump's threats. Everything is bad. And I hope you have a lovely day at work. That's why I released this video at night, because I just go to sleep on this. Think about it. I don't know. I don't mean to make you sad. I'm sorry if I made you sad, but yeah. Have a lovely day or night wherever you're at. I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your nigga night, be my loyalties low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride.